Hey, listeners, it's Paul Andriola here. Why not join our community at Small Cap Discoveries, where we offer our members direct access to some of the best microcap investment opportunities available? Our members are getting access to premium microcap financings, research reports, and direct access to management. Sign up today at www.smallcapdiscoveries.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Small Cap Discoveries conference call. Today is September 4th, 2025. And today on our call, we have back the CEO, Bill Besenhofer from The Fresh Factory. The Fresh Factory trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol FRSH. The company is currently trading at 98 cents with about 55 million shares outstanding, or about a $54 million market cap. I'd now like to hand it over to Paul Andriola.
Thanks a lot, Trevor. Bill, great to have you back. It's been a little while since we last spoke. You've clearly been busy based on what I've seen in the financial results, so happy to have you here. We will love to get an update, but before we even get to an update, why don't you remind everybody what Fresh Factory is all about, and then we can start talking about some of the highlights.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for having me again. It's good to be with you guys again here. So, yep, we are the Fresh Factory. So, food and beverage manufacturer, based out of Downers Grove, Illinois, at one of our facilities. We do products all across the board in the better for you space. So, healthy, clean label. Things that you can take a look at the back of the labels, and you can actually read and pronounce the words that are on it. As opposed to the ones where, unfortunately, you can't. So, yeah, so we do a multitude of different products, from cold pressed juices and smoothies in the beverage line into our snacking side, that I'll talk a little bit about as we get into, protein bites and refrigerated snack bars. And then we have our other condiment line where we do aiolis and salad dressings. And what's really, really hot right now are males, better for you males. And so that's something that we do in a whole nother section in a category in the space, in the food space.
Fantastic. Okay, so I saw the last quarter results. Revenues were up 49%. You guys were nicely EBITDA positive. What's happening to cause that kind of growth right now?
Yeah, so look, we've always been someone that we're trying to grow as quickly as we possibly can, quite honestly. And a lot of that comes down to just finding the right customers that are trying to do some of the similar things that we're doing, and that's being in the better for you space. And so we've got products and customers that we've now partnered with, where we've helped create some products for them that have allowed them to kind of spur their growth, because the retailers such as a Costco or a Walmart or Kroger, they're looking for these new better for you products. And quite frankly, Whole Foods, I forgot them, they're large as well, Sprouts. These types of companies obviously are looking for the next innovative product that is better for you. We've been lucky enough to be able to grow with quite a few of those customers as they've kind of gone on their rise, and help kind of scale up their operations and our operations by partnering with them. Now, what's great about it is, and again, we've talked about this before, and being diversified and making sure we don't have like just one customer. Currently right now we've got, three different segments and categories I talk to. Within each of that, we've got multiple lines that we run, different product types. And so those different product types that we have, we're pretty lucky enough to have quite a few anchor customers on those lines. And quite honestly, we've been lucky enough that, we continue to just keep bringing, more and more product to shelf. And as those products are successful, that has allowed, obviously us to grow with our customer, because the retailers themselves are, looking for more and unique products to bring to the forefront. So, we've continued to keep growing and growing by leaps and bounds. As you mentioned, Paul, obviously our revenues are up 49% year over year. I'm, really, really excited about where that's at. What's even better is our EBITDA, net income, continue to move in the right direction. Now, while as we do that and say that, like anything, if it's speed and moving at this pace that we're trying to move at, there is money that's going to need to go back into the business, because we are at a point where we're starting to see on multiple of my lines, we're running close to 24/7. And we still have, so capacity starts to be a little bit of a concern. And so in saying that, we now need to go and get and invest in some larger lines and or find some automation and things of that nature as we continue to grow. So, we're extremely excited about where we're at and the types of customers that we have, and proud of them. But we have got a massive list of them that are right behind the customers we have, which is why which I think one of the things that, we talked about in the release, we've secured another facility that we'll be moving into in 2026. It's about 150,000 square feet. So we'll be moving out of our original location that we've been at for 10 years or 9 years here now in Carroll Stream, Illinois, which is about 40,000 square feet. We're moving into 150,000 square feet so that we can actually grow and grow out the business, because right now trying to run 24/7 on a few lines in a 40,000 square foot facility, yeah, it's definitely it's a bit of a challenge, but look, we've got a ton of opportunity with customers that are waiting in the wings, ready to run. It's not good to be have a lead time of 8 to 9 weeks out, on a line. So we want to make sure that we can still take care of the customers that we have, but then also help grow them, as well as a few other customers that we have on the docket that we'd love to bring on and help kind of scale our business even more.
Now, Bill, refresh my memory. Like, how do you go and, like, it's the new products, I mean, mostly new products here. How do you go and, is it ideas are coming from your potential customers, or you going to them with ideas? Maybe give us a better sense of that.
Sure. It's mutual. Quite honestly, it's mutual. And it really depends on the customer and maybe potentially the segment that they're in. And I'll use an example. There may be a customer that, funny enough, the lucky thing about what we have is a lot of our customers want to grow their brands and their businesses. So they don't just do one product with us. They may do a protein bite, but then they also might do something else on our other line that has to do with it might be a salad dressing that they have in their category. So they're across multiple different segments. For us, what we've been able to do is, look, we ourselves are in the marketplace, always looking and hearing and trying to get our ears to the ground of, all right, what's the thing that's coming out next, right? And I think one of the things that I could specifically talk to when it relates to protein bites, like right now, I can tell you protein bites in general are extremely hot, and a lot of it quite frankly, has to do with GLP-1. Because with GLP-1 in protein bites, you're trying to pack a lot of protein in smaller segments, right? And so, when you have something like that of a snack that's a better for you, healthy, that packs a lot of protein, that actually helps, quite a bit, because if you're taking GLP-1 and whatnot, you're not able to eat as much as you probably have had in the past. So you're able to get everything and the nutrients, et cetera, that you're needed from a protein perspective in a bite-size, product. That's taking off. Like we've made, I think even just the last quarter alone, we made 10 million bites. That has been just skyrocketing. That's a business that we got into a year ago, that we had some foresight prior to it, just in doing diligence and research, and then found the right person that was getting into the business, helped them start making some of those. And next thing you know, now they're off to the races, and we're helping kind of like get enough capacity for them to continue to keep growing, while others are now chasing at their heels. And so we've been able to kind of do that. As well as, we've got, 4 food scientists on staff, as well as our sales team, who are constantly out there talking to customers, seeing what's out there, seeing what's going on at trade shows, and seeing where the market's going. Even from a flavor perspective, I think one of the things, at least within the US, you've noticed a lot of flavors. Flavor has become a very, very big thing, even from maybe India and things that like outside of the norm. Well, that's starting to get traction, and it's because it's better for you. It's healthy. It's got a little spice to it, taste to it. That's something that's kind of taken off. And so we honestly, it's just through our own connections and our own diligence and research. But, at times people come with ideas too that are unique and are very, very different in the marketplace. And quite frankly, a lot of manufacturers in the food space aren't necessarily wanting to take that risk. For us, we look for some of that, because we feel like that's where the opportunity is, and we actually think that's where the growth is.
Yeah. Now, you talked about the new facility. New facility is not up and running yet, right?
It is not. It is not up and running yet. Not yet.
When do you expect it to be up and running?
So, look, I want to, be realistic here. We're starting to do work like now, September 1st, we're able to actually go in and do work. We're not actually supposed to move in until January. I think we're going to try to do as best we can to move in sooner, because of the fact that, like I had mentioned earlier, we've got a lot of capacity coming, and we need to be able to make sure we can hit the target in the times of our customers, as well as their growth, and then the customers we have behind it that are ready to launch with us. And so we want to make sure that we're able to take care of all of them. So, and quite frankly, like I mentioned, we're in a 40,000 square foot facility where we make certain amounts of our products, which is our condiments and our dips and hummuses, as well as our juice. And space is a real constraint. And so we want to make sure that we would try to find a spot where we can get that, where we've got everything in the same place. So all ingredients and packaging, that's all same place. Right now, we've got to be at another facility, even outside, to bring it in, just to get it in time. So it's more of a just in time. To have it under all one roof will make things in our efficiencies even better than what we're doing, as you can see in our numbers.
And resource-wise, do you have everything you need to get this to fruition?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, we've got some, there's some areas in which we're looking to grow within the organization. As we've started to grow the business itself, again, 40 some percent last year, we're at 49%, year over year right now. We're looking to be very close to that as we finish the year. That's a lot of growth and a lot to take on for a group that we have within our teams. Look, as we start to grow, there are going to have to be a couple hires here and there, because we can't have someone wearing, 4 hats anymore. We need to start to have some areas of opportunity where you start to see, well, look, there's an opportunity in one area of our departments that we feel like, look, if we have someone more and, has a little bit more, I would say, expertise and or just dedicated to that could actually help us in the long run, but also save us money and do a bunch of things, like whether it relates to even to our transportation costs and things of that nature. So yeah, and I think as we grow, we have a good base, but there's definitely some areas where we definitely know we can bring some people in that can actually help us scale this business, where even faster.
And Bill, what keeps you up at night right now? What challenges are you dealing with?
Yeah, so I think right now it's honestly the space. So I think space is a really, really big thing for us. It's making sure that we're actually able to do the things that we need to do to get production in. We are running so much that, little mistakes here or there, downtime, that's a problem, because once you're down and you're down for a bit, you can't get that time back. We're already on some of our lines, we're starting to, that capacity is starting to become, very tight. So, we can't afford to have downtime. So right now, that's definitely what's keeping me up. And I think the other thing is just the speed at which we're growing. We are growing very quickly. It's all exciting and it's fantastic. And, but, obviously we're in the business and we want to make sure people are happy. And, we don't want to let anyone down and do things that we can't say we can't do, which, luckily we haven't had that. But, we do know, I do know we've got some things in the pipeline here that are, going to be great for us. And so, I want to make sure that we as a team are prepared. And again, we're going through a move. You're moving stuff. We're also going through an ERP implementation because we're on an old school ERP. We're moving into a new ERP system. It's all part of business, as with the growth of a business. So, we're trying to leverage all of that rapid growth with also trying to upgrade some of the systems and tools that we're using to make ourselves more efficient and honestly be able to better serve our customers.
And sort of what excites you the most right now? There's a handful of things that you're doing. Clearly, they're new. Are there new products that excite you? And new,
Yeah.
What can you tell us?
Yeah, for sure. So I say, like, I'll bounce back to that protein bites. I think the protein bite category is a really great category right now. And again, most of the time when we get into products, these aren't like one hit wonders. They tend to be around because there's a purpose and a reason for it. That stems all the way from whether it be the wellness shots that we're doing, that we continue to make, to again the smoothies that we're now making, to right as we moved into the refrigerated bars, which is still a category that we're continue to expand on. But the protein bites, I think, is something that's actually really interesting, because of the GLP-1 and because of how much that's going on and what it is out there, the and portion control, portion size, that's going to become really important as we continue to move forward here. And I think that's the space that we continue to move in. So one of the other things is we moved into portion control and sizes with some other equipment that I don't know that I necessarily called it out in our release, but we've brought in some other equipment that allows us to do packet sizes, small packets, so we can do salad kits, salad dressing kits, and things of that nature within a category that we're already in, where we're doing dressings in bottles. And now those customers are wanting to have packets because obviously they're looking to move that into other areas where it's smaller portion size for people. And so we've got a capability to be able to do that now, which we're running that line as well, doing small packets.
And like I think you said 140,000 square foot facility that you're moving into. Can you give us a general sense what revenue wise, what can that deliver for you guys?
Yeah, so I think, look, that facility in itself can take us well into well over 100 million, well over 100 million. So that should be enough to easily get us there. Look, we're on a good trajectory for this year as it is. I think we're gonna have, it's gonna be, and I think our back half is gonna be much better than our first half even. So, which is fantastic, which we're really excited about. So you're saying, what am I excited for? I'm excited for the growth opportunity that we have. With each stage of the business that we've been in, like, we continue to keep growing and growing. And every few years, it's now the next step up, right? We went and got this building here, which is interesting, this Downers Grove facility that we moved into, that we moved our snack business in. Man, it's crazy how fast things can move. I initially, when we moved into this building that we're in, I had thought, look, we're going to have, good year and a half to 2 years before this thing is really full. Well, we're about 4 months in, and that building in itself is we're getting pretty full already, which is again, great problem to have. So I say that, and as we move into this other facility, we will continue to keep our Downers Grove facility. That will be our snack business will be there. But we'll do all our protein bites. We also do better for you Pop-Tarts. So we've got a Pop-Tart line that we have that we can do some things on. And again, when I say all these things, they're really kind of the same machines. They're just different formats in which they can come out of the machine and in which you use them. Some could be in ovens, some may not be. So we'll keep our snacking business over at Downers Grove because it's a good space for us. But yeah, this 150,000 that we're going to will really help us grow out some of our other, like our bottling lines that we have, as well as our rotary line, as those businesses are continuing to grow and expand.
Let's look out a couple years. I imagine there's you're going to be somewhat resource constrained because there's so much activity going on right now. But let's say 2-3 years down the road, as you get access to more cash and cash flow, how do you look at capital allocation at that point? Like, what are you looking for? Potentially more expansion? Are you looking for M&A? Are you looking for, I don't know, anything else that
It's a good question.
gets used for?
Yeah, totally. That's a great question. I think, look, when it comes to like an M&A thing, we'll always be looking and listen. I'd be lying if I didn't say a lot of people call. But look, if it's the right thing for the business and the right thing, we'll take a look at it for sure. But the reality is, I think we just want to continue to keep making a really, really great business that we have. Can continue each quarter to keep growing the business, and taking the things that we're doing, reinvesting back in the business and continuing to grow and allow ourselves and allow obviously these customers the opportunity for themselves to grow too. So as we continue to grow, like there's categories, right? We started off when we first started this business, we were really small, clearly, right? And you have smaller machines. We want to continue to grow with our customers. So we're now at that next stage where, are we PepsiCo? No, we're not doing 1,200 a minute. That's not where we're at. But we're not looking to be there right now. there's still an opportunity for us to get into this nice range where we can do 100 to 200 a minute and on multiple lines. And that's a really great business and continue to grow. And that business can be $200 million in revenue. And so that's something that, we are looking for.
And Bill, I saw that you did a financing here recently. I think it was $3 million. I'm just going to look it up here. Yeah, you closed on a $3 million US private placement. Do you need more funds right now, or do you think you're good for a while?
Yeah, so we are we did a raise about a few months ago. A lot of that was to help build out this current facility that we moved into in Downers Grove and just working capital. We continue to keep growing each month. And I think with our business, when you've got to purchase a lot in advance and then hold and then produce, and before you buy, like that working capital hit is real. And so we needed enough working capital to take that next step. As it relates to moving forward, we are in conversations and talks as it looks to lines of credit that hopefully over the next few days we can maybe see some things as regards that. And we'd be looking at something in that regard to help again with the working capital and the growth that we're going to have, as well as a bit of this build out for this new facility. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you talked about some general trends in food, but are there other trends that we should be aware of as investors, or is there something else that we might miss because we're not close enough to the industry?
I get from where I'm at, I don't necessarily see anything, other than I think portion size is really important. I think that's going to be a big thing. And I look, we tend to be the ones that are near the forefront of a lot of new innovation in food. And so as I see it right now, look, there's some things that I probably can't necessarily say that they're out there, but they haven't hit mainstream yet, and we're not even ready for them to be launched. But there's always different ways and dynamics of way people are making things, but they're doing it clean. And that's the difficult part about it, because some of the ingredients and products to keep clean, and that's why large, other players who maybe put preservatives and things in, they're able to do it because then they keep it on shelf. We're not there yet with some of the things that we're working on. Look, we're always, I don't want to say tinkering because that's not the right word, but we're always keeping our eyes open and our ears wide so that we can, see and catch any of the stuff that maybe something new that people haven't seen before, and then help bring it to market.
And Bill, I mean, you guys are located in the US. In Canada, we're very sensitive to this stuff, but tariffs, are you guys impacted at all by tariffs?
Yeah, great question. We haven't necessarily seen everything quite yet. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say like everybody, and I'm assuming everybody, like you guys as well. I mean, when the announcement started coming out, I mean, it was crazy, right? I mean, no one had any idea what was happening.
Sure.
So we kind of looked at it going, well, before we panic, let's kind of see like where the dust settles, like how much is real, how much is not real, before we start to like do things and change supply chains and whatnot. Look, I'd be lying if I didn't say there's probably some hits for sure, especially with some of the things and some of the packaging that maybe that some people get. But, it's kind of interesting that, the dynamic that we have in some cases, some of our customers actually, they purchase their own stuff. Other customers, we purchase all of it. So each customer is totally dependent. We haven't necessarily, it hasn't done anything enough to where it's taken our numbers. At some point, we may start to see it as we kind of go through the numbers through the quarters, as it kind of gets passed through. I mean, because every time that there was an announcement made, something's, at the borders and they don't know what to do, but we need the product. So they get it to us. So you're kind of like, oh, well, are we getting tariffed or are we not? Like, what's going on here? So like equipment is like a big thing.
Sure.
I can tell you right now, we were looking to buy a piece of equipment, and from overseas, it was about $4,500 US. They quoted it, and then it was like $5,000 extra because of a tariff. Like, yeah, we're good. We could find it someplace else. It's not worth it for us to get that. So it definitely is a part of it, but we ourselves have not been hurt by it, and quite frankly, our customers haven't been hurt by it yet. Right. So, but that doesn't mean it's not going to come through at some point.
Yeah. Understood. Okay, well, clearly you guys are on a nice roll here. As investors looking in, what do you think we should pay the most attention to? Is it still sort of revenue growth? Are you guys expected to see better profit margins? What do you think a metric or maybe even catalyst that we
Yeah.
should pay the most attention to?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the thing for us is we're going to continue to grow the top line. Like the
Mhm,
top line is going to continue to grow. For me, it's now starting to try to get to let's get some more operating income, and see that continue to grow. Obviously, EBITDA is extremely important, but I know that we're going to invest back in the business.
mhm,
And so there's going to be some things. And, at times when we want to move quickly, and in moving quickly and running multiple shifts, some of our margins going to get hit a bit by that
mhm,
because of the fact that we are trying to fulfill orders. I think I think what we'd be looking for is as we move into this new facility and we actually have the capabilities from like a layout perspective and we're more efficient with the way we have things. I'd
mhm,
like to think that, margin wise, that we start to see some nice margin increase. Now, in saying that, it's twofold because as you grow and we start to get even bigger customers,
mhm,
margin can be tighter. I don't say tight.
mhm.
It can be, we might have to give a little bit of margin so that we can gain some larger business.
Yeah.
But that hasn't, knock on wood, hasn't necessarily happened yet. But I think that's realistic when you start to get larger and larger customers. And again,
Mhm,
not that we don't have large customers now. I mean, we've got publicly traded customers all the way down to small customers.
mhm,
But as you start to get into the field and start to play with, the big players in every category, look, it's
mhm,
probably going to be some pressures there, but I don't see it being anything outside of, a couple points,
mhm.
from a
Yeah.
margin perspective.
And Bill, how geographically constrained is your business? Like, are you, do you have customers in Texas, for example, that are buying, or
Mhm.
is it more, I mean, Illinois in that area is a pretty big market.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
where are your
yes.
customers located? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's national. So,
Okay.
gosh, how can I say? So we most of the customers, I mean, again, they could be customers from New York, customers from
Hmm.
California, literally Miami. You touch every piece of the entire United States.
Hmm.
They're from. Quite frankly, there's a bunch of product that goes to Canada. Some of the
Hmm.
customers we have, it goes through Canada. When you're in every Costco in the United States,
Hmm.
that's everywhere, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you're in Publix, which is all the north, southeast, or you're in every Whole Foods, a lot of the partners and customers that we have, they're national now. They're like their brands are starting to be national. So,
Hmm.
for us, like for them, it's actually great because they know that a lot of the ingredients and things can come centrally located, and then a lot of the hubs or distribution centers are not that far away. And so we can actually hit their distribution centers, or there's lanes that are just coming like right on the way, and boom, they can pick up and
Hmm.
they're ready to go. So, we're pretty lucky from being like kind of centrally located in the U.S., where we can pretty much hit the entire United States within 2 to 3 days. 75% of the United States in like a
Hmm.
2 to 3 days in a trucking.
Hmm.
So geographically, we're not. There isn't really any constraints,
Hmm.
because again, some of it has to do with the customer themselves on where do they get in. Some could
Hmm.
be a direct to consumer, so they just have a massive warehouse, or they could be in Arizona, and that's where their warehouse is. And then we send a couple truckloads of product there, every week. It
Hmm.
just truly depends on the customer themselves.
Hmm. So 49% top line growth. You alluded to sort of 40%, perhaps continued growth. Is is that a viable number to continue to sort of expect, or can this accelerate, or does it slow down when you get bigger? How do you manage that?
Yeah, so I look, I try not to go too far in the distance, but
Sure.
I
Yeah.
would say, as we move into next year, look, we've had some phenomenal growth years here. I think some of it comes with, capital as well,
Mhm.
as you start to scale up the business. And so, I think, I don't want to say a number because quite frankly, I don't
Mhm.
want to be held to it, but I would say that I feel very confident in what we've done. And literally, as you guys may know, through the last 4 years that I've been in here, pretty much every time I've said something we're going to do, we pretty much are darn near right spot on. So like, I want to be cautious. I don't want to ruin that record, let's say. But look, I'm going to continue to aggressively grow the business. So if that means we're going to try to go do minimum 30%, that's what we're going to do. And now, look, internally, do I have other goals for us? Absolutely.
Sure.
But I would say that look, we're still looking to be a growth business, to the point where I want to get to 100 million here as quickly as possible. And so if we can get ourselves close to 50 this year in itself, a few things here. To your point, Paul, are there opportunities out there for other businesses that may be needing us to kind of help in with a merger or something of that nature? Look, we're open to listening. And so, that could be an avenue, an opportunity, but it's still our bread and butter is what we do, and is making product and growing with, these customers themselves that are on their own rocket ships that we can help them get to that, get to the moon.
Fantastic. This has been great, Bill. Is there any key message you want to make sure that everybody walks away with today?
Let's see. No, I mean, I think the key message is, we got a great business. I've got some really phenomenal people. Continue to hopefully support and take a look at what we're doing. We're a real company that's doing some really, really, really great things. I know that the value of our company is well more than what I think it is, quite frankly. So I can leave you at that, because I see the pipeline. I know where we're going. I know what we're doing. So for me, there's extreme excitement, just because this is something we've been working hard for, the last 9 years since we started this thing. So,
and you're making stuff that's good for you.
Correct.
That's important piece.
That's the most important thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, listen, congratulations on phenomenal growth, and congratulations now on needing to continue to grow. I think that's fantastic. We've been speaking with Bill Besenhofer, CEO of the Fresh Factory, symbol FRSH on the Venture Exchange. Bill, great to see you today. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to the next time we catch up.
Appreciate it, Paul. Thanks again. Take care.
You got it. Take care. Bye for now.